In this comprehensive, detailed breakdown, we are going to deeply explore the absolutely jaw-dropping purchasing power that a simple $1 bill held within the United States back in 1972. I deliberately selected this specific historical year because it truly represents the final breath of a golden economic era before everyday life changed drastically for the American middle class. It was a fleeting moment of relative economic calm before the perfect storm was triggered by the oil embargo of '73 and the devastating stagflation that mercilessly followed. This year also marked a pivotal historic milestone, standing as the first full year after President Nixon's controversial decision to permanently close the international gold window for good. This massive monetary shift meant the US dollar was no longer convertible into precious metal, a decision that forever altered the public perception of our money's real, tangible value. When we start comparing everyday prices from that specific era with the current inflated market of 2025, we will uncover numbers that seem absolutely unbelievable today. Let us kick off our nostalgic economic journey with a fundamental dietary staple, a simple loaf of sliced white bread, the absolute pillar of daily nutrition in American households. With just a single crisp $1 bill in your pocket, you could confidently walk into any local supermarket and walk out triumphant with 4 whole loaves of bread. A standard loaf from iconic household brands like Wonder Bread or Sunbeam cost barely 24 cents, a low price that today seems like a generous gift we can hardly imagine. If we look at current exorbitant prices on the shelves for a similar name brand loaf, you would be paying around $4.50 without a second thought. The commercial bread produced in 1972 was a unique sensory experience, chemically fortified to be impossibly white and as soft to the touch as an artificial cloud. It typically came packaged in those characteristic loose plastic bags, secured with colorful twist ties, serving as the essential carbohydrate item in every school lunchbox across the United States. Doing the depressing inflation math, seeing 25 cents jump to $4.50 represents an astronomical increase of 1,700% in the price of this basic good. If the federal minimum wage had actually kept up with this frenetic pace of bread inflation today, we would all be earning over $30 an hour just to maintain standards. Let us move on to the second essential item on our historic shopping list: a whole gallon of fresh milk destined for the family breakfast cereal bowls. For your humble silver dollar, you could easily buy nearly 2 full gallons of milk, since the retail price hovered around just 58 cents per unit back then. Nowadays, the national average price has climbed steeply to $4.20, marking an abysmal difference in the weekly family food budget for this dairy product. This represents a massive 600% increase, although the packaging and presentation were undergoing a radical transformation during the year 1972 from glass to plastic containers. We were waving a nostalgic goodbye to the milkman's heavy glass bottles to embrace the translucent plastic jugs that dominate the refrigerated aisles of modern supermarkets today. Interestingly, milk is one of the few products that has resisted shrinkflation, since a gallon is still legally the same volume of white liquid despite the rising costs. However, the quality of the dairy product available back then was radically different, as milk in '72 was much fresher and spoiled significantly faster. The modern milk we casually buy today is ultra-pasteurized, scientifically designed to last for weeks on the refrigerated shelves without going sour. The most shocking stat is the labor effort required in 72 20 minutes of minimum wage work paid for that entire gallon. Today, an average worker needs almost a full hour of relentless effort to acquire exactly the same liquid, tripling the real cost in lifetime. Let's move to point 3 eggs, where with a single dollar, you could take home the incredible amount of 3 dozen fresh eggs. The price hovered around 30 cents a dozen turning eggs into the most economical and accessible source of protein for the working class. Nowadays, the price fluctuates wildly, but a standard carton hovers around $3.50, an increase of over 1,000%. Back then, bacon and eggs wasn't a luxury breakfast reserved for the weekend brunch, but the daily fuel of the American workforce. The cardboard cartons were flimsy and seemed about to disintegrate, a far cry from the rigid plastic or recycled cardboard packaging of today. Item number 4, coffee, the engine of productivity, where your dollar bought a whole 1-pound can of brands like Folgers or Maxwell House. Here we face shrinkflation at its finest. Modern plastic canisters have reduced their content to a meager 10 or 12 ounces. If we adjust the current price to match the full pound from 1972, we'd be paying close to $12 today. We've swapped the sturdy collectible steel can for disposable plastic containers, accompanied by an inflation rate of 1,200%. Fifth on the list, Swanson TV dinners, a cultural icon that cost between 39 and 49 cents a pop at the store. This meant you could enjoy 2 full frozen dinners, whether turkey or Salisbury steak, for the price of your single bill. The experience of cooking these aluminum trays in the oven for 45 minutes was almost a futuristic ritual for families. Even though the corn tasted a bit metallic and the apple dessert burned like lava, it seemed like the pinnacle of modern convenience to us. Current versions are lighter, more expensive, and have become mere snacks instead of the full adult meal they used to be. Sixth on our list are vices, specifically tobacco, where a pack of Marlboros cost just between 40 and 50 cents in vending machines. With your dollar, you got 2 full packs, whereas today, in cities like New York, that amount won't even cover a tenth of the price. This abysmal price difference, close to 3,000%, is mainly due to the heavy tax burden and not just simple inflation. In '72, smoking was an omnipresent social act freely allowed in offices, airplanes, and even while grocery shopping in the supermarket. The buying experience was purely mechanical, pulling a heavy metal knob and hearing the dry thud of the pack falling down. Seventh beer, where your dollar almost stretched enough for a 6-pack of national brands like Budweiser or Schlitz, which cost $1.20. Even if you were short a few cents for the full pack, you could easily buy a quart bottle and have change left over. Today, the average price of a 6-pack hovers between $9 and $11, which represents a massive 800% increase. Back then, beer came in steel cans with those sharp pull tabs that people would just rip off and toss on the ground. Littering was seen totally differently back then, and your dollar guaranteed a good time, whereas today, that buck won't cover the deposit. Number 8, the fast food revolution with McDonald's and their brand new quarter pounder, which cost just 55 cents. A regular burger was 28 cents, so with your dollar bill, you could grab the main course fries and still have change. Today, a meal like that easily tops $11, and just the burger alone costs more than $6 in most places. Even though the meat technically weighs the same, the bun is airier, the cheese is thinner, and the whole experience has changed. But the biggest thing is that back in '72, the fries were cooked in beef tallow, giving them a legendary lost flavor. Number 9, Kentucky Fried Chicken, which used to be the perfect cheap solution for a lazy Sunday family dinner. An individual box with 2 pieces of chicken and a biscuit cost about $1 a luxury everyone could afford. Today, that same 2-piece meal is nearly $9, with noticeably smaller biscuits and mashed potatoes made from instant powder. The inflation here really stings because chicken was supposed to be the cheap meat, the affordable fuel for working-class American families. Walking into a KFC and walking out with that red and white box felt like bringing home a trophy to share. Number 10, for the rough times. A shot of whiskey at a neighborhood dive bar cost just 50 cents. Slapping your dollar bill on the wooden bar guaranteed you 2 drinks of a standard blend like Seagram 7 to drown sorrows. The vibe in bars back in '72 was dark, smoky, and wood-paneled, with the jukebox blasting the Rolling Stones in the corner. Today, a simple shot at a dive bar costs $5 minimum, which is a 1,500% increase. The happy hour back then was actually happy for your wallet, whereas today you have to work an entire hour just to pay for that one drink. Number 11, something sweet specifically. Hershey's chocolate bars, the gold standard of American candy, which cost just 10 cents a pop. Simple math tells us you could make 10 kids happy or go on a binge all by yourself with 10 whole bars for just $1. Today, a standard bar costs anywhere from $1.50 to nearly $2, but the real crime is found in the ingredients. The chocolate back in '72 was richer and had more cocoa butter, while now we are just paying more for sugar and fillers. Back then, if a kid found a dime on the sidewalk, it was a treasure. Today, it is just worthless metal junk. Number 12, the omnipresent Coca-Cola, where you could grab 10 individual glass bottles since they were 10 cents plus the deposit. They were those iconic green contoured glass bottles holding 6.5 ounces, keeping the soda incredibly cold and fizzy. Now a single plastic bottle at a convenience store costs up to $3, and what you are drinking is chemically inferior. In 1972, Coke was sweetened with real sugar, but today we are drinking cheap, high fructose corn syrup. Number 13. The most painful part of this comparison is gas, where you could pump almost 3 full gallons for your single dollar bill. The national average was 36 cents a gallon, and getting gas was a luxury service included in the price. A uniformed attendant would come out, fill your tank, check your oil, and clean your windshield, all for those few cents. The air at the service station smelled like tetraethyl lead, a dangerous but nostalgic scent that defined the car era. Today, you pump it yourself while getting bombarded by ads on digital screens, and you pay 10 times more for the privilege. Remember, 1972 was the last year of cheap gas, right before the embargo changed how we drive forever. Number 14, car maintenance, specifically motor oil, which was essential for the vibrant do-it-yourself culture of the time. A quart of high-quality oil cost 50 cents, meaning you could buy 2 sturdy metal cans with your dollar. Today, a liter of synthetic oil hits $10, which is an 1,100% increase that has turned maintenance into a luxury. Those metal cans in '72 needed a specific spout puncher to open a messy job that was extraordinarily cheap. Number 15, the car wash, essential to keep your Ford Pinto or Mustang shiny, which cost exactly $1 for a basic wash. The machinery was loud and brutal with giant bristles slapping against the car body, but for that price, it did the job perfectly. Today, your dollar barely buys 3 minutes at a self-service vacuum, while a full wash runs about $25. Number 16, the movie's a sacred cultural experience, the year The Godfather premiered, where a ticket cost $1.70. However, for kids, or during matinees, a $1 bill was enough to open the doors to the cinematic magic. There weren't endless blocks of commercials back then, just cartoons, trailers and the movie projected in a theater with velvet curtains. In 72, a teenager worked 1 hour to pay for a movie, whereas today they need to work almost 3 hours just to sit in that seat. Number 17, physical music, where you could buy 45 RPM vinyl records for less than $1. You owned the music completely, a physical piece of art bought at Sears, unlike the ethereal digital licenses of today. 18, communicating by mail, where a first-class stamp cost 8 cents, letting you send 12 letters with your dollar. You could pay all the month's bills by mail, but today the cost of moving physical information has skyrocketed, even if digital is free. 19, the Sunday newspaper, a 3-pound beast full of comics and news that cost 50 cents. Your dollar kept you informed all week, while today you hit an internet paywall after reading just 3 sentences. 20, to understand the sheer scale of this, we have to look at the federal minimum wage, which was $1.60 an hour. A man earned that dollar in about 37 minutes of basic work, or in 15 minutes if he had an average salary. But the inequality was palpable. Women earned significantly less, needing 25 minutes to earn what a man made in 15. Even though equality laws were being passed, the economic reality was uneven, a reminder that nostalgia shouldn't erase social problems. That dollar from 1972 had the magical power to keep a person fed for an entire day. Today, that same green bill is practically useless. It won't even reach to buy the empty plastic bag you would put those groceries in. This retrospective isn't just an exercise in curious nostalgia, but a clear warning about the silent erosion of our wealth. We've seen how basics have turned into luxuries and how quality and quantity have been sacrificed on the altar of inflation. From bread and milk to gas in the movies, every aspect of daily life has seen its value diluted right before our eyes. The next time you have a $1 bill in your hand, think about the power it once held and what we have lost. It's a tangible reminder that the economy isn't just numbers on a screen, but the real capacity to live with dignity. 1972 was the end of an era, a moment frozen in time before the rules of the game changed. I hope this trip to the past has made you reflect on the true value of money and how it has transformed our society. I have many more analyses of American economic history ready to share with you all in future videos. Researching these prices has been eye-opening, a window into a world where a worker's effort yielded immediate tangible fruits. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the upcoming episodes where we'll keep exploring the forgotten corners of our economy. Thank you for joining me on this tour through the aisles of a ghost supermarket from 1972. Your comments and observations about the prices you remember are always welcome and enrich this historical conversation. See you very soon with more data, more history, and more economic reality that sometimes beats fiction. Until then, watch every penny, because as we've seen today, its value is more volatile than we'd like to admit. The video fades to black with the sound of an antique cash register closing. End credits appear over archival footage of shopping in the 70s. The screen displays the final comparison chart of 1972 versus 2025 prices as the music swells. A slow zoom out from a vintage supermarket checkout counter, leaving the viewer in the empty aisle. The lights of the supermarket turn off one by one, symbolizing the end of the broadcast. Bonus scene. The screen lingers on the empty store, dust motes dancing in the last beam of light, echoing the silence of a bygone economic era. A ghostly echo of a 1970s PA system announcement is heard faintly, "Clean up on aisle 4, fading into silence. The camera pans over a forgotten shopping list on the floor, handwritten in cursive listing milk, bread, cigarettes, $200. We dissolve to a modern-day busy street, the noise of traffic breaking the spell of the past. People rush by, glued to their smartphones, oblivious to the history beneath their feet. A final title card appears, "What will your dollar buy in 2072?" posing a question to the future. The question lingers on screen as the background shifts through decades of currency designs. A subtle sound of a coin spinning on a table is heard wobbling before finally settling. The screen cuts to black abruptly, leaving the viewer with their own thoughts on value and time.